I may have to update mine.
Okay, there, we're live. There we are. So let's see here. I'm going to pull up those questions.
Yes.
Okay. We are hosting the Q&A for you today. And we've got question number 1. Tell me
Should
more.
we introduce ourselves first,
Oh,
Michelle?
that might be a good one. We've got Michelle here. Hello.
Hi, I'm Denise. So glad you guys are here joining us on this Q&A.
Q&A Wednesday.
Yeah, exciting.
It is. It's kind of fun working with you today, Denise.
Yes, I'm honored to be here with you.
Thank you. All right. Tell me more what it means to have a money consciousness over a poverty consciousness.
That is a good question. So let me talk about poverty consciousness first. So, it's not the same as being, as poverty. It really is a belief. So let me just start again. It's not the same as poverty. It's the belief that, there isn't enough of anything to go around. Like maybe there's not enough money, maybe not enough time, maybe not enough planning, not enough love, etc. And this can cause a lot of emotional stress for us. And this is what we're trying to avoid in our life. And with today's society, there's so much focus on materialistic things, right? And we can easily drift into that poverty consciousness thinking, oh, we don't have enough money to buy those brand new red boots that my favorite friend has on right now, and I want them too. But you also have to think about people that have a lot of money. They actually can feel that way also, because even though they may have a lot of materialistic things, because that's what's important to them, they feel like they need more and they need more and they need more. And really it's more about our inner, how we feel about our inner self. So I would think that the real cause of poverty consciousness is a poverty of imagination. As a kid, we used to imagine everything and that we could do anything in the world. There was nothing that could stop us, right? But now we might see our inability to see our future built on our deepest wants, our deepest desires. And I don't know if you've heard this, but I love Dolly Parton's song. The name of the song is A Coat of Many Colors. And the words that she sings in it is, you're only poor if you want to be. And how true is that? Everything comes from our mindset. And so if you're thinking you're poor, just shifting the way you look at things, shifting your mindset, and always coming with more of a money consciousness, feeling more abundant. So what I would suggest, if you do have some limiting beliefs about money, like write those down and then try to think of more of the positive side of that, right? So you don't want to think about, like, say, for an example, you might think rich people are greedy, right? So that means that you may avoid doing those types of things because you might fall under that same bracket, right? So trying to shift that around, reframing it, I think is probably the best thing for you to do. And then if we look at money consciousness, before I move on to that, Michelle, do you want to say anything about poverty consciousness?
I think you nailed it, Denise. And it is thinking with lack. Right. Yes. You're right. It has really not a lot to do with money itself. It's that feeling of lack, like you're missing out on something. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not just money, right? It's lack of everything in our life. Right. Yeah. So if we move to money consciousness, really, in case you have not heard this, desire is the starting point of all achievement. So if you, in this case, let's say we desire money, then you have to shift your mind and allow that desire to just always be there. Saturate your mind with that desire. Already see yourself in possession of money. So if you want to improve your money consciousness, then you will want to make sure that you attract the abundance of financial wealth you deserve. So always thinking that you are financially wealthy. And again, that doesn't have to mean money. It just means abundance, right?
Mhm.
And I love this saying. It's riches, and it's from Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. Riches do not respond to wishes; they respond only to definite plans backed by definite desires through constant persistence. So just remember that everything is just energy. Money is energy. It's just another form of energy. Fill your mind with those thoughts of success in all aspects of your life, and you will achieve riches in all aspects of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And something I always think about too is there is an abundance of everything. Everything is in abundance, and there's enough of everything to go around for everyone.
Mhm.
Right. And the beautiful thing is we all don't want the same thing. So what I want and what you want are two different things. And there is enough of that to go around. We live in an abundant planet, right? We live in an abundant time. And yeah, so that will create that money consciousness when you truly believe that there is enough of everything for everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. If we wake up with a bad dream, what does this mean my subconscious mind is doing while I'm asleep? And how do I move past it immediately upon waking? Such a good question.
That is a really good question. I love this question because I love the dream world. And your subconscious mind never sleeps. Everything else in your body is going to go to sleep. We physically need that sleep, right? Your physical body needs the sleep to regenerate, rejuvenate, to heal. But the subconscious mind never sleeps, and it's always working. It's always trying to, how do I want to say this? It's, connect the dots for you, right? It's trying to make things more clear for you. So when you dream about something, it might not be literal. It might be just coming in messages. So what I would suggest is to keep a journal. I suggest this to everybody, actually. Keep a journal beside your bed, because when you wake up at night, when you wake up in the morning and you remember your dreams, jot them down. And either it's your subconscious is helping you to solve a problem, or it's letting you know that something else is going to be coming up.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
I really
How do
like
I
that.
move?
Oh, Constance has a question.
Yeah.
Do you want to take yourself off mute, Constance?
Yeah. Okay, I was the one that framed that question. So I really respect your answer and totally on board with it. Where I was coming from with that question is knowing that my subconscious, because Esther and Jerry Hicks talks about it shuts down, it stops the attraction point. But knowing what we know about the subconscious, I'm going, that's kind of contradictory, because you just said it too. Your subconscious is always working. And I understand messages, and I get, some things are symbols, whether it's people, events, whatever, that something was triggered emotionally, so it's reflected in the dream. But this particular dream was an absolute fight and left me with such a negative impression with that person that I'm going, I got to switch from this so I don't attract this, right? I got to figure out why it was there or what was the trigger, but at the same time, get out of it. And because when you either wake angry or wake scared or whatever, right, that it's a little more than just picking out a symbol and da. So that's it. It was that reaction point in that moment, scared as hell that I'm attracting it, because I woke up with such a strong feeling around the dream, not going, oh, that was a silly dream, and you just carry on like a thought, but that it was so emotionally embedded. So that worried me. How do I crack that as fast as possible so that I don't attract whatever I was thinking or dreaming or feeling about?
Mm-hmm. Again, I would suggest journaling about it. So if that dream clearly had some significance for you. So there's something deeper in there that that dream is trying to tell you. It's
yes, I know it is, but give me
how do you
tools.
switch is what you're saying.
Yeah, like just to, because we know feeling secret plus subconscious, and I wake up with such a, do you just go meditate and just take it for what it is? And yeah, I was just really worried. I'm going, oh my fucking God, if that's what I'm attracting in my sleep, I have no control over it, or is that a paradigm in itself? That in my dream, whoa, you know, that I should almost whoa it in the dream. I don't know.
It's interesting, Constance, because I had a similar situation last week where I was dreaming about somebody and I woke up and I was rather annoyed. So I'm I am harboring still some feelings towards this person that maybe I don't want to, but they're still there. So there's still some healing that needs to be done there. And what I did was I energetically sent that person some love.
I did do that.
I had an energetic conversation with them just to say, look, I forgive you. I forgive me. Let's both move forward from this, and just allow that to be the truth.
Yeah. And the only other thing I thought was that maybe they were just the symbol of that feeling that I was experiencing somewhere over here subconsciously from someone else. Yeah. And that they were just the most recent concrete example of it. So my subconscious goes, hey, like this.
Yeah.
And so to try to separate that out, but it was just to get rid of that scared as hell that I was going to attract more of it because it was so immersive.
Yeah.
I woke up.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Did that help?
Yeah, I think so. Just respect it for what it is and journal it, or just whatever it is, send love and light out, and go from there. And hopefully I said, hey, if you're trying to send me a symbol, universe, can we be a little more clear? I don't have time to decipher everything. A little more clear message would be nice.
That's exactly true too. You can say to your creator, I want a clearer message.
Yeah.
I demand a clearer message because I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. And it's okay to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah, asking questions. I just had a dream not similar. I mean, we're all different, right? But I had a negative situation that happened yesterday, and then I dreamt about it last night. And this morning I woke up and I thought to myself, like, oh my gosh, am I bringing this into today? Because I didn't want to, knowing that I have a lot of things on my plate today. And so I started to journal about it, and I'm still going to journal about it. But I really do like what Michelle says about, sending light and forgiveness to, in this case for me, to this person. So I'm not carrying the negative emotions with me. And then I'm going to continue to journal on it. Yeah, I like that.
I just love how our subconscious mind works.
And I like your suggestion of, asking for more clarity, right? Sitting and meditating and asking those questions, like, why? Why is this coming up for you?
And it might not even hurt to say, why did this dream come to me? Why am I dreaming about this particular person? Because again, you might not get the answer right away, and it might come in another dream. Right. So even before you go to sleep at night, just say, hey, if I'm going to dream about this, or I'd like to clarify this during my sleep, please.
I was worried by sitting there in the energy of, why did I do this? Was it about them? Is it a symbol? That I was still staying in the energy and engaging the law of attraction to it. I was worried about stewing in it too long as well.
Yeah.
By doing all that, right?
I think if you're doing that for days and months, then you're in a problem. But
no, I was worried about more than 7 minutes. I was worried more than 17 seconds. Like
I think you're fine.
And then we do have one question in the meeting chat. I don't know if we want to look at that now just because we're talking about dreaming, and Linda mentions how she's always seeing the numbers 1111. I mean, I see them all the time too. I look at the clock and it's like, oh, it's 1111. I like to think of it as a chance for me to make a wish, or really connecting more to my intuition. And then what good do I want to put out in the world? That's how I look at it. I know that it has a specific meaning to it. Michelle, can you add anything to that?
Yeah, actually, I study mystical numerology, and 1111 has some really cool connotations to it. 11 is a master number, and it is the lighthouse number. So, number one, if the number one is you, the number 11 is really you squared. It's you in your mastery, where you can take what you've learned and be that lighthouse for other people. So when I see 1111, I think you're on point, Michelle. You're exactly where you need to be.
Love that.
And I see somebody here is number 123. And I always go thoughts, feelings, actions. That's the 1, 2, 3.
Love that.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, with that, I put it in the chat, Linda. Yeah, look up online, and there'll be lots of reasons behind 1111. There's a really good website, and I'll see if I can find which one I go to all the time that I find is the best, because they'll give 5 reasons you're seeing it and see what resonates with you. And then maybe you've assigned 111 subconsciously to mean something. I know when I used to see repeated numbers, that it was a check mark for what I was thinking. And when I see 111, I go, no, thank you, I aligned. So it's whatever you assign those numbers as well, is what I find. Does everyone else?
Yeah.
Everyone else think?
Thanks, Connie. I've seen it for quite some time now. And once I saw it 11:11 in the morning, and I saw 11:11 at night. And I went, whoa, it's got to mean something. I'm 65. My horse farm before, maybe.
I'm all about the numbers for sure. Okay, here we go. Here's a good one. What's the difference between purpose and vision and goals?
Oh, that is a good one. Let's see. I'm going to explain it like one kind of after the other sort of thing. So purpose, I feel, keeps you focused on why you exist, your life decisions. You can also think of it as kind of like your personal mission statement. For one thing, like, how do you plan to leave your mark in this world? What kind of impact do you want to leave in this world? I think of it that way. And then you have to think, for me, I think purpose is a feeling. If I'm feeling energized and really enthusiastic about something, then I know that I am moving in the right direction. So it's energizing, it's very powerful, and it actually can help carry you through any sort of struggles that you might be going through. And your purpose really is, I say, in your life, it's a desire to just give and to be in service of others. It all starts with us. It all starts with you. And as long as you're here to grow yourself and raise your level of awareness, then you're on the right purpose, right? But I think you have to be passionate, enthusiastic about what kind of impact you want to leave in the world. That's what I'll say about purpose.
If I could add to that.
Yes, please.
Denise, it's your raison d'etre. It's your reason for being here. You were born with that purpose, right? So your purpose in life, is not to be a mom or a grandma or to work at a specific job that you work at. It is, that comes after, right? So you're born already with your purpose. It takes us a little while to discover it, some of us. But so it's really your reason for being here. Yeah.
I love that. And what you mentioned too about being a mom and a grandma, those are just bonuses that happen along the way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Love that. And then vision. Vision, I like to think of it as the most important dream or mental picture that you have. You know, it can be your personal why. And really the key is to just focus on what you really want and not let all this outside world, all these distractions that are happening around us take over. You know, just focus on the things that you can control and not the things that you can't. And like, you know, things like whatever's happened in the past, you know, things you failed at, what you might feel that you're lacking or missing in your life. No, not focusing on those, but focusing more on the things that you can control and where you want to go, you know. And I think our goals is I should wait in case Michelle wants to add to vision before I go into
Well,
goal.
I was going to add your vision is, where do you see yourself? What do you see your life looking like? What impact are you making? Right? Where are you living? What are you doing? Like really, you're looking at, if you're standing on the peak of the mountain, what do you see from up top? That's what I would add for that. And
Yeah,
then
love
goals.
that.
Denise,
Yeah,
what do you
goal is it's really a definiteness of purpose or a specific target. You want to get very clear and specific on the goal that you want to achieve, you know, at the top of that mountain, like Michelle said. And then you want to set a date. And then set a date for when you want to reach it. Is it a year? Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? How long will it take you to climb that mountain, right? So just think of a goal is a dream with a deadline. That's what I'd like to say about goal. Would you like to add?
and that timeline doesn't necessarily have to be written in stone. We put that timeline there for our subconscious, actually, to say by the end of this, by this date, I want to have achieved this. If you haven't, you might even achieve it beforehand. So when I set a goal, I like to say on or before December 31st of 2022, I will have ... Now, if I go past December 31st and I still haven't quite achieved that goal, I'm not going to give up on that goal. Yeah. I'm just going to say, oh, okay, I missed the mark a little bit, but okay. Because really, in the eyes of the universe, time doesn't exist. So we put that timeline in there to satisfy the subconscious, to satisfy our humanness, to say, well, now I have a timeline. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that too, because, you know, I had a certain goal at one point in my life and I want to reach it in the month of November. I missed it by very little. And I'm like, oh, and like Michelle says, you don't want to just give up and say, okay, well, I didn't make it, whatever, it's gone. No, you just keep trying. And I tried again in December, I hit that goal that I wanted to. So it's just never give up, keep going.
Yeah, keep pushing through. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So can I see my goal, like the steps to go to my vision? Like little steps that I have to take to reach my vision?
Yeah. Yeah. And then right. So it's, you take this, your goal would be like your, what do you call that? When you're climbing a mountain, working your way up the mountain.
Like you mean the steps on the way up, or like the end?
So here's your vision of where you want to see yourself. Your goal is the steps to get there.
Okay.
Did that help?
Okay, yeah. Like goals is like like the steps, like the activities that, for example, my vision is to have the sanctuary, like a network of sanctuaries protecting donkeys, right? So that's my vision. That's what I want to do, and that's what I want to see myself. I mean, I have like two visions. One related with my company, my own company, have it like all over the world, like bringing healthy foods. And the other side is the animals. So that will be my vision. That's how I see myself, like helping the animals, right? And my goals is like, for example, like I'm like saying, for example, hook up with 5 organizations by the end of December 2022 that are dealing with donkeys, like things like that, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So I think it's like the stepping stones and how are you going to get there? So like you reaching out to 5 different companies that can work with you to achieve your goals. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so let's see. I'm just going to find the next one. Oh, here's what. So I want to give, donate, but I'm feeling my money paradigm come in. How do I move past this?
This is a really good question. We got some great questions in here today. Not that we don't always have great questions, but these are really good too. Want to give or donate. First of all, just start where you're at, right? Just start where you're at. I love how Delynn talks about when her and her husband go out for dinner, they will tip the bill, right? So if it's, I don't know, they go for lunch, it's $50, they'll leave a $50 tip. I'm not at a place where I can do that, but I will leave maybe half, right? Or even donating to your favorite charity. Maybe your goal is to donate $5,000 a year. Well, you have to meet yourself where you're at. So maybe starting at $5 is a good place to start. Or if you feel a percentage of what you're earning, set that aside to donate. We sometimes forget that we want to be very generous and giving people, but we've got to work our way up to the point where we can be doing what we want to do. So my suggestion would just be to start where you're at, really.
Yeah. And, I just want to add something to that. Like where I live in London, Ontario, and, we've been downtown for dinner and that, and there's a lot of homeless people down there, right? And so we were with a group of people and this one homeless person said, can you give me money for food? Well, we just said, hey, why don't we just pop in here? You tell them what you want to eat or drink, and then we'll just buy it and you can go and, enjoy that. So that's another way of giving, right? It doesn't always have to be like physical money being handed over. It's just, and I like what Michelle says is just doing what you can. We're all at different places in our life. And if we can even give, I think even give a smile. It might not be monetary, but giving a smile to someone because you don't know what their day is like can be so powerful. You feel light, but you also may uplift that person you just gave a smile or said hi to.
Mm-hmm. And I love that, Denise, because you don't have to donate with money. Yeah. It can be just some time.
Exactly.
Maybe you want to give of your time to your favorite organization or whatever it is that you're working with, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because time is so valuable, right? And people think of like seniors that might not be able to get out and do things. If we can support them, help them in anything, our time to them, like say our grandparents or whatever, is going to be so much more valuable than a dollar figure.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I wondered, I'm just going to read the next question and let you answer it, Michelle, because I think that this will be a good one for you. And I'll just add in if I feel something come to me, but it is, I have so much guilt asking my kids, putting something on hold so I can work on my goal. Their sports are a full-time job, just getting them to and from. Help. Some guidance.
Yeah, I can relate to this one. There's a couple of things with this. By not let me read this again because I want to make sure I word this properly. Asking your kids to put something on hold so that you can work on your goal is going to benefit them just as much as it's going to benefit you. They might not understand that right now, and that's okay. I don't know how old these kids are, and it doesn't matter, because you're showing them how to lead their life as well, because their goals are important too. When they get older and they look back and they see, mom really showed me how to focus on getting what she wanted to achieve, right? You're not taking away from them by you focusing on your goals. So first of all, I'm going to say drop the guilt, because it's not doing anything for you. It's not doing anybody any good. And again, they will learn. They're steeping in your tea. So they're going to learn. Just say, listen, mom needs half an hour to finish what I'm doing, and then we can do what you need to do. Or if it's, getting them to and from a game, or it sounds like they're busy in sports, call a friend. Hey, I'm working on something today. Can you bring Jim to the hockey game so that I can finish what I'm doing? I got your kid next week. I'll take him to the game. Ask for help. Reach out to some other parents who can maybe give you a hand.
I love that. It's like sharing the responsibility, I can do it this week, bring your kids. If next week, I really love that about just sharing the responsibility. Moms coming together, families coming together to support one another.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And your kids are going to see, they might get annoyed with you because you haven't set a boundary before and you've dropped everything that you're doing so that you can look after them. You're not doing them any favors by doing that either. I hope that helped.
I think, I don't have kids, but I can see how that would, like you said earlier, it's showing kids seep in our tea, right? It's showing your children how, for one, respect other people, and to really know that when they they follow in our footsteps, no matter what, right? They're going to pick up all of our habits, and we want to make sure that they're good habits and we're teaching them really well. And so I think showing that, hey, I need a half an hour to do this. The kids are going to respect that. Maybe not right away, but down the road they will. And they're going to understand that when they get into that same situation, this is how I remember my mom handled it, or my dad handled it. And yes, I need to do the same thing instead of getting sucked into a situation here or here. It's like, no, I need to respect my time so I can focus here, get this done and complete and move on to the next.
Yeah, I know, because from personal experience in the past, when my kids were young and I would drop what I needed to do to go do something for them, was I really giving them my all? Was I really giving them all of my attention? Because I was still back here thinking I should be doing this, but no, I'm doing this. I looking back, if I'd have just spent that 15, 20 minutes doing what I was doing, I could give my kids 100% of the attention that they needed. That makes sense.
Yeah. Because sometimes we get so scattered because we're trying to take our focus to, say, 5 different places. And then we achieve nothing, right?
Yeah.
We achieve nothing. So yeah, prioritizing and then moving forward. I like that.
Yeah. And scheduling your calendar, right? If you've got to take the kids to hockey, I'm sorry, that's what my kids played. So that's what I'm going to go to. When I would take my kids to a hockey game on Saturday, I made sure I had everything I needed to get done. Right. So the Saturday I could focus on them. That's honoring your calendar. Right? Paying attention to what you need to get done so that you can give the proper focus when needed. Yeah. Okay. Shall we move to the next question?
Sure.
What's the difference between leaving people the feeling of increase and doing things in a certain way?
Okay, this is a good one.
Yeah.
I feel that leaving someone with an impression of increase is you're always putting other people in front of yourself. It's not about us as an individual. It's not about me. It's wanting the best for other people around me in my life. Oh, even not in my life, just, holding the door open for somebody that I may not know, or, it's just making them feel good. So, yeah, I think it all starts with that thought and also a feeling. And our power really lies in our capacity to spread more light, to spread more love. And I read it somewhere, just to become an instrument of love. Like I want to just share a moment when I was younger, in my teenage years. I was always a person that just spoke right up. Whatever was on my mind, I needed to get it out. I needed to blurt it out. Never, ever, ever thought about the other person and how it would affect them. As soon as I said it, I'm like, yeah, there, good, I'm done. But within a few minutes, I felt guilty because I could just tell from the expression on their face, their body motions, that I hurt them. And I felt really guilty. And it's when I started to, when I started getting into this studying, raising my level of awareness, is when I started to understand it. It's not about what I have to say or what, me being up there on top. No, it's about respecting other people and loving other people and giving other people space. So for me, it was like dropping myself, right? And just putting myself out there for everybody else. But respecting also, myself, but also them. It's all, for me, it's all about listening now. I listen instead of reacting really quickly, because what I used to do when I was a teenager, I stop, I think about it, and then I respond. I may not respond right away. It might be a couple of days, but for me, I know that I'm so grateful that I've got into the studying and learning how to raise my level of awareness, because it has done amazing, like given me positive impacts in my life. Yeah.
I like to think of leaving people with a sense of increase is leaving them better off than when I found them.
Yes.
So when somebody walks away from me, I want them to feel like, I'm glad I had a chance to talk to her. I'm glad I had that opportunity to sit with her. And it's just leaving people better off than when you found them. That's how I like to look at it too. Yeah. And then there was a second part to that.
Yeah. And I was just going to add one other thing. You just want people to feel inspired and feel the love that you can give them, right?
Yeah.
Because it's going to help them feel better about themselves and love themselves.
Yeah. And the second part of that was doing things in a certain way.
Oh yeah. So there's a quote that comes from the book called The Science of Getting Rich. And it says, it's not about doing things, but doing things in a certain way. So it's really more about like the process. And when you have a good process, it can produce consistently good results, And I think the secret to that is enthusiasm, your positive attitude, how enthusiastic you are about doing something, and being passionate about it, being passionate, enthusiastic, having that positive attitude is really going to make a huge difference in your own life and in other people's lives. So, so you might want to think about it if you go to a corporate job. And say every morning you wake up and you're like, oh, I just don't want to go to work today. You're not feeling it. You don't feel enthusiastic about your job. Every time you go there, it's like, oh, then, it's something to look at and think, am I where I need to be? Am I in the right line of work? So I like to tell people, think about your why, because that really is the most important part. Think about back in your purpose. Why are you here? Right. And then figuring out the how, and again, it's not about doing certain things. It's about the way like doing things in a certain way that's going to bring you the results that you're wanting.
I love how you brought enthusiasm into that, Denise, because that really adds to the way you do things. And when you're in the spirit of it, right? When you're in the spirit of doing something, that's doing it in a certain way. It's like I even cooking a meal for your family, right? When you're in the spirit of it and you're giving love to the food that you're cooking and you're dancing, you're doing whatever when you're making this meal, you know that your family is not only benefiting from the great food that you've made, but they're also receiving that energy that you've put into it. They're receiving that love that you've put into it. So I like to think of doing things in a certain way is doing it with the spirit of doing it. And enthusiasm is part of that for sure. Yeah.
Because people will feel that. They will feel it.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can feel it. Like, I always say my sandwich always tastes better when somebody else makes it for me because I know they put some thought and effort into it, right?
Or the salad, right? Not crazy I'm making salad, but when somebody else makes it, you appreciate the time and the effort that they took to make it, and you enjoy every bite of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, should we move on to the next question?
Yeah.
All right, let me see where that is. Oh, and here it is. Do you include your study and meditation as your 6 things to do?
I'm going to say no. That's part of your self-care routine. The 6 things that you want to add on your list are the 6 things that are going to move you forward to where you want to go. So their study and meditation just is automatic, right? That's just something you're going to do every day. The 6 things that you put on your list, 6 things you need to do are the 6 things that are going to move you forward in your business. Whatever it is that your goal is, they're going to bring you closer to your goal, closer to that big goal. Did you want to add to that one, Denise?
Yeah, I was just thinking about when, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, 123, when she mentioned about, the goal and then all these different steps. So think of it, or even you, Michelle, with that mountain, think of it as the 6 things are the different steps that you're going to take to get you up to your goal, to work you towards your goal.
Yeah.
Can I say
Exactly.
something there about that, the vision and the goal? When you manifest and when you visualize, you manifest your vision or you manifest and visualize your goal.
You're visualizing I visualize my big C goal. So when I'm laying on my bed and just before I fall asleep, actually that's the best time to do your visualizing is before you go to sleep and when you first wake up in the morning, because your subconscious mind is wide open and your imagination is like fresh. So before I'm falling asleep, I visualize my goal. I see myself where I'm going to be. I see myself, Michelle Goal Achieved, is walking around in her beautiful home, going into that gorgeous bathroom. And, that's where I'm seeing myself. I'm not necessarily looking at each of the small steps, but I will visualize a small goal because, tomorrow I'm meeting with a client. So I'm going to lay in bed and I'm going to visualize how that client conversation is going to go. Right? So it's a little bit of both, actually, Adriana. It's a little bit of both.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking, I'm like, okay, if I go to bed and I have to visualize myself at the end, right? Like they said, at the end, I already achieved my goal, not my goal, I achieved my vision, because that's what I want to be. That's what I want to see myself in, I don't know how many years or whenever it
Well,
is.
your vision is really just a compilation of all of your goals, right? So Adriana, goal achieved, lives wherever she wants to live. She dresses in a certain way. She has certain friends around her, right? Your goals are what's going to get you there. So when you're visualizing your goals, you're bringing yourself to the vision of where you want to go.
Vision. Okay, to my vision, which is at the end of, like, and at the same time, I'm visualizing my new self-image, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So even what does your house smell like? If you're, what does your house smell like? That's what I think about. What's going on in my kitchen? Who's walking around? Who's here with me? Right? Use those 5 physical senses and bring them into your visualization.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. I have this vision of reopening a yoga studio. So I think about, what does it feel like to be there? What does it feel like as clients are coming into the studio? How many students do we have? How do they feel every time they come in? And how do I feel as they come in? Like, I look at it as, just looking at everything and feeling all that I've accomplished in that whole umbrella. Right.
Yeah, I like to throw the sense of smell in there too, because the sense of smell is one of the strongest senses connected to memory. And you can also use that smell for future memories, right? So I know what my future house smells like. I know what my future mate smells like, right? Because I've attached that to the memory already. I've created those memories already using my 5 physical senses. Okay, should we move to the next question?
Sure. Sorry, excuse me, sure.
Okay. I feel myself moving towards me as my goal achieved. My actions are different. How far ahead do I have to see on my plan?
Okay, so I'm going to answer this on how I'm feeling, because just talking about that vision I just had. For me, I felt like I needed to, well, first of all, believe that it's going to happen. So, and I had to set a date on when I wanted to happen, when I wanted to achieve that, and you may look at it, is it like a month down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road? And then, if my actions are different and they don't seem like they're lining up with that whole vision that I have, then I have to look at it and say, have I created a really good plan, like a very detailed and specific plan? Have I written it down exactly how I want it to be? And have I put a date on it? So, let's say if you wanted to achieve your goal. Well, for me, if I wanted to achieve my goal now I'm down to like less than a month. But I had this vision a couple of months ago. So it was a very short vision. I had to break it down and figure out what I had to do in order to achieve that goal within that specific time frame. So let's say if you had a goal a year out, then maybe start to break it down on a month by month basis to help you move forward. Or maybe you have to break it down even more from a week to week basis.
I love that, Denise. Break it down into small chunks, right? Like break it down to the ridiculous, really, is what you want to do, so that, like each little piece builds and builds and builds so that you get to that big vision goal at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, you
of
just never
that.
know how many times you have to break it down in order to seek out, each person's going to be different. Each goal is going to be different.
And as far as how far you need to see, you only need to see for the first step. So it's like when I like to use the examples when you're going to go drive to the big city, right? You don't know exactly, you can't see the roads ahead of you where you're going to go. Your first step is to just get out of the driveway. Okay, now I'm out of the driveway. Now where do I got to go? Your GPS, AKA the universe, is going to tell you, well, now you need to turn left. So turn left. Now you're going to stay on this road for a little while until, well, I can see the other roads. I can't see ahead of me where I got to go. I'm just listening to where they're telling me to turn. And each time you get to a specific area, the GPS, again, the universe is going to tell you, well, no, turn slightly left or slightly right. Yeah.
Love that.
We don't need to know the whole plan, right? We need to know the first couple of steps of the plan. And then, because there's our plan and there's the plan. And the plan is already mapped out. We're maneuvering our way to get to that.
That was great, Michelle. All right, so let's move on to the next question. So explain, if you are not willing to do more than you are being paid for, then you will never earn more than what you're worth.
Explain that one. Yeah. If you're not willing to do more than you're paid for, you're never going to earn more than what you're worth. I think about myself when I was in the corporate world, and I would hear people say, well, that's not my job. I'm not staying an extra 5 minutes for that, right? Like those people were always the people who stayed in that one job. They never moved around. It was the guy who, I'm going to work through my lunch today because I really want to get this done. I want to impress my manager. Or I'm going to come in on Saturday and I'm going to just go the extra mile here because I want to do a good job. I want to do a good job. I want to leave people with the feeling of increase. I want people to understand my value. Right? And when you go that extra mile, if your current employer doesn't recognize that, it's time to move to a different employer. It's time to move. But if they do recognize it, you will be compensated for it. You will get the promotion. You will be recognized. Did you want to add to that, Denise?
I agree with that 100%. If you're the type of person that's like, well, this is my job, this is all I'm going to do, and not, especially think of if you're on a team environment, right? Mm-hmm. I was in different teams when I was in the corporate world, and it's like, there were those ones in the team that said, nope, exactly what you said, Michelle, this is my job and this is all I'm going to do, never wanting to lend a hand to the rest of the team. And as in a team environment, everybody outside that team environment is our customer. And if, that team is not working together, then how can we provide a really good service, right? So it's always in a team environment. It's always about everybody pitches in for the better person, for better service, and as an individual, I feel the same way. Like, sure, I could just sit there and go, well, yeah, I'm done my work, so I'm just going to sit here and kind of scroll or Facebook or whatever. No, it's about like, what else can I do? I mean, I love to keep busy anyways, but it's like, what else can I do to help get the job done, or to, I'm always about being in service. So, and I agree that if you can put in more like say in a corporate job, your employer is going to notice it. They're not going to notice the person just sitting there doing nothing. They're going to notice the person that is willing and able to get in, get their hands dirty, get the job done. And yeah, you'll definitely be compensated for it.
Without complaining about it, right? And
Yeah, exactly.
The guy who's sitting there and saying, that's not my job. I'm not going to do that. Well, what's eventually it's going to happen is they're going to get let go and nobody's going to miss them anyway. They weren't doing anything. Right. So yeah, the law of compensation states, is there a need for what you do? Do you have the ability to do it? And how easily are you replaced? So if you look, there's always a need for what we do, no matter what it is, there's a need for everything.
Yep.
And your ability to do it, that's the one we really need to work on, is your ability to do it. Because if you've mastered what you're doing, there's no way they can replace you. But the guy who's sitting there and he's the not my job kind of guy, well, anybody can do that, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we have one more question, Denise.
One more, right at the almost the
Look at us,
top
we're
of the
just
hour.
going through all of these. I know. I'm starting a new business and I know all the steps and I feel like I'm spinning.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can kind of relate to this because of my vision that I'm working through right now that will come to fruition in a few weeks, right? There was times where, knowing all the steps I had to do in order to make this come to fruition, there was times I felt like I was spinning all these plates and it's like, what the heck, what am I doing? Is this going to work? But I had to stay focused and I had to keep that vision, hold the vision and know that it's going to work. And then just say, okay, do I need to juggle all these plates? Can I take one plate? Maybe you have to take 2 plates at a time. And can you focus on those and get those completed to the step where you can set those plates aside and then bring in another plate? Maybe you can handle 2 again at the same time. But I think looking at, okay, what is everything that needs to be done for starting this new business? And how can you break that down so you don't feel spinning out of this world and can kind of accomplish each of those steps?
Mm-hmm. And what came to mind for me, Denise, was sometimes you have to slow down to speed up.
Exactly.
If you feel like you're spinning and things are running out of control, that's a good opportunity for you to just kind of stop, take a breath, take a break, go for a walk around the block, come back at it tomorrow, do something to just give yourself a little bit of a break. And then I'm telling you, when you come back to it, boom, 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 everything is going to come back into place and fall into place. And you're going to look at it and you go, oh, I didn't even see that yesterday. So simple.
Yeah. I love that. You definitely need to take a break. Like yesterday, I was feeling overwhelmed in that. I'm like, I'm going for a walk. And I went for an hour and 45-minute walk. Absolutely loved it. And yeah, coming back, you feel refreshed, you feel alive. And it's like, as you say, everything just seems to fall into place.
Yeah, because force negates. So if you're sitting there and you're spinning your wheels and you're pushing forward and you're trying to do this and trying to do that, you're going to crash. You're going to hit a wall and you're going to not get anywhere. So my advice would be just to stop trying so hard, right? Step back, take a breath, and then get back into it.
And always remember, like Michelle said, is slow down to speed up.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that on my whiteboard back here.
And that brings us to the top of the hour. So thank you.
Awesome.
I guess maybe we should take a quick check on Facebook.
Oh, I'm not even on Facebook, so I didn't see.
Let me look.
Yeah, if there was any questions there.
I'm just going to turn my volume right off here. Study Oh,
Mystically, we're all.
quiet. Oh, no questions
Nope.
there so
Okay.
far. So we're
Okay.
good. We're good.
Awesome.
There
Well,
we
thank
go.
you everybody for joining us here today on this Q&A. Loved having you there. Thank you for, asking your questions during this this Q&A.
Yep. Keep them coming in. Keep
Yes.
them coming in.
And thank you, Michelle,
It
for,
was,
for your
I was just
guidance
gonna say, it's
too.
been
So
a lot of fun hanging
Yeah.
out with you this afternoon, Denise.
I love it.
Thank you, ladies, for joining in.
Thanks. Have a great day.